Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our November team call. We are doing these calls once a month, always the first Monday in the month. And why we choose to do just monthly call, because we have so many other calls. We have rep call with Dr. Mitra Ray on the Tuesdays, 9 o'clock, every Tuesday. These are amazing trainings. We are doing academic calls on the Monday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time and 7 o'clock on Wednesday Pacific time. Then, instead of overwhelming everybody with so many calls, we will start to do just once a month team call, when we get all together. We will have always some amazing speaker, and today it's our own Doug Barlow, and I will introduce Doug. And thank you so much, Doug, taking time. I know you are very busy, and you do so many things, but I really appreciate you just show up for us. And thank you again, everybody, for being on the call. Then I know Doug now for 18 years, and then we have really amazing friendship. Then Doug, it's not only my friend, my mentor, and here's really our 100 Club NMD upline. Then Doug Barlow has been creating an ideal lifestyle by helping others to do the same since September of 1994. Then you were there really 1 year after Just Plus was born. Seeking optimal health can be a challenging journey. There is too much misinformation driven by politics, profits, and industry versus healing and health. Doug is a lifelong amateur athlete, excelling as a competitive sailor, ski racer, mountaineer, professional ski patroller, paraglider, pilot. I know always Mitra was very scared about that one. And general outdoor adventurer. Along the way, he always found joy seeking simple truth in a world of excess information and complexity. He has traveled the world via air, land, and sea. Then you are really fearless, Doug. Doug and his partner, Dr. Mitra Ray, have built a large multinational distributor network through the educational programs focused on the benefits of plant-based nutrition, creating free time and improving swan cash flow. An avid outdoor adventurer with a penchant for gravity and wind power sports, Doug loves to share Plan B with anyone interested in escaping the rat race known as our modern society. With beliefs such as the simplest solution is usually the best, and if you are not living on the edge, chances are you are taking up too much space. I always love that one. I always imagine this big mountain and Doug is pushing me over that mountain. You will truthfully enjoy this fun and fully expressive message that Doug has to share. He's the father of 3 lovely daughters and maintains a home with his partner Mitra along the shores of the southern Salish Sea at Tulalip, Washington, USA. Then thank you so much, Doug, for taking time being with us. And please, if you can just share your really amazing story and anything what you would like to share with us today to really inspire us and put up a little bit our vibrations.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me, and happy November to everyone. Anyone else shredding with me? Anyone doing? All right. Awesome. Day one. And how are people plugged into that new format, like our kind of North American shred? Is everyone tuned into Nicole's page?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's okay. Brilliant. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, fantastic.
And so easy to invite into, because I'm still keeping inviting people. Then like that, you are getting people ready for the December shred, right? Then it's really now ongoing event.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so as you said, this is the beginning of my 25th year. I signed my distributor application. I don't know. I think it was September 5th of 1994. and Juice Plus, as you mentioned, Rodko, was introduced in '93. But don't be fooled by thinking that, oh, you had to be there in the beginning, because the interesting thing about the Juice Plus company is that they're basically 50 years old, and they are not a quote nutrition product, but they are a product introduction company, and they've introduced some amazing products that are now industry standards. And I use the heat and smoke detector as a prime example of how brilliant the president of this company is, because that's what they started off with back in 1970 when no one had one, and now you can't walk into a public place, any building basically, without a smoke or heat detector. So having said that, when Juice Plus was originally introduced back in 1994, or 93, for me in 94, it just made common sense. I mean, who eats enough fruit and veg? And my friend shared, hey, this is just fruit and vegetable nutrition in a capsule. And I just thought, wow, how simple is that? Doesn't everybody need to eat more fruit and veg? And I think if you're honest, there's not one person on the planet that day in, day out says, oh yes, my gas tank of fruit and vegetable nutrition is overflowing. And for every day that you are not filling your fruit and veg consumption, if you will, you're literally shortening your life. I mean, that's not dramatization. That's just the truth. We live in a toxic world today, and one of the easiest ways to eliminate toxicity is to eat a ton of fruits and vegetables, as well as avoid toxicity as much as possible. So that was almost, over 24 years ago, if you will. And at the time, I was an engineer. I worked on ships, and I enjoyed working on ships because I made lots of money, and I only had to work 6 months of the year. However, as times change, and times are always changing, after a while, working on ships felt as if I was in prison with a chance of drowning. And I did not want to grow old at sea, so I was looking for something else to do. And at the time, it just looked like taking a 9-to-5-er with an engineering firm, where I was going to take a big cut in pay, as well as, more importantly to me, free time. I don't know about you, but I always like to ask people, would you take half the money for twice the free time? So I thought I was going to be going backwards, and I'm forever eternally grateful to my friend who, over a dinner conversation, shared the concept of these food concentrates with me. It just made so much sense. I dreamt of George Jetson for 3 nights, and then I called my friend and said, hey, doesn't everybody need to eat more fruit and veg? And if this is a legitimate way to fill the gap, then everybody can take advantage of this. And if everyone can take advantage of it, you must be able to make money by sharing this information with other people, as as my friend had shared with me. And while she didn't know anything about the business at the time, as a Stanford biochemist, she did understand the value of what Juice Plus was. And so I just took it upon myself, based on her direction. She said, well, why don't you come to an event and you can learn more about the product itself. You can learn more about who's responsible for the product, i.e., who is this company? And you can learn, the system of how, yes, you could share this with as many people as possible, and generate some income. And just to cut to the chase, long story short, if you will, I didn't go to that first event. My friend invited me, hey, I think we have an event on Tuesday night or whatever. I happened to be busy that Tuesday night, and I think I was busy for the next 3 events that they were doing. But I was still keen, and I finally said, hey, my schedule's open. I can go to this event. And that event really, it changed my life forever, because I heard a couple of things that really resonated with me. And one of those things that resonated with me, that it was that, are you getting paid what you're worth? And as a shipboard engineer, I got paid well, but I always felt I should be getting paid twice as much. And I don't know about any of you out there that have a job, but I'm pretty sure if you're like me, you're thinking like, yeah, they could easily pay me 1.5 times more than they do, and that would be, it still wouldn't even be what I'm worth. But so I heard you could get paid what you're worth, and I was very interested in that because I had a good work ethic and I was a good employee. The second thing that really blew me away was that if you wanted to, you could use this business model to compress a lifetime's worth of work into a couple years worth of effort. And for me, I was 33 years of age at the time. As I mentioned, I had a good life as an engineer working on ships, but good sometimes is the evil of great. And I wasn't interested in just a good life. I'd had enough life experience to realize that being an engineer was good, but it wasn't going to have all my dreams come true. And I didn't really know where to look in terms of creating a great life versus just a good life. So that's why I'm eternally grateful for when my friend shared Juice Plus, because that's what happened. I realized, wow, I'm going to become a student of this industry. I'm going to learn about direct sales. I'm going to learn about, what makes a corporation last a long time, 50 years with the Juice Plus company. I'm going to learn about, the concept of a franchise. And then there's also this thing called network marketing. And our business model is kind of a blend of all four, if you will. It's not traditional network marketing, but unless you take a look at what we're doing, you won't know that. You'll just kind of rank us up, just some other network marketing company. And I trust me, we are not, especially when you consider the leadership and the fact that I've only done one direct sales company, that's this company, and it's been lasting me over 24 years. And with our food concentrates, we have not even we barely tapped the surface. This is the tip of the iceberg in terms of a whole society and a medical model that's failing, where we have a simple solution that is backed by 38 clinical studies and growing every year. There's more and more science to validate what we have as an evidence-based solution to a problem we all have, which is accumulation of toxicity, and we're just not eating enough fruit and veg. So the third thing that really resonated with me was that you could do it on your own terms. And back then, my hair was a lot longer, and I didn't always, I suppose my costume was not always what people thought I should be wearing in terms of a professional. But those three things, that really resonated with me some 24 plus years ago. And I basically took it, I was ignorance on fire. I didn't know that what they were telling me wasn't going to work, because I'd seen other people who I thought had less talent than I doing amazingly well with this business model. So if I can share one thing is if you're curious and if your friend has shared this information with you, yes, sometimes it's convenient to just collect information in the comfort of your home on a screen, but I can't say enough about making the effort to get out to a live in-person event where you actually get to see other human beings interacting with people. It's not just a two-dimensional world. And more importantly, I think what you get that you can't get through a two-dimensional screen is it's hard to, well, you can hear my voice, and so you can appreciate my emotional sincerity, if you will, but body language is a big part of anyone who's involved in what we do. And it's in a world where everything is, texting and social media, it's actually quite nice to get together in person and be able to give people a hug and kiss the ones you love and just shake hands and get to see people as the real people that we are versus just living in this world of two-dimensional screens. So that's a little bit of my story. I will tell you that in the first 2 years, because Juice Plus was new, we didn't really know what we were doing, and neither did the people who were teaching us, because the previous product had been an environmental product. They were not nutritional products. So we kind of had to, the first 2 years, it was 2 steps forward, 1 step backward, but then eventually we helped the company create this, what we now have in the terms of our preferred customer program. And also this concept of the virtual franchise, which that was good, back in the late 90s, but even today, the virtual franchise, it doesn't necessarily describe exactly what we do as a business model. And you may be excited or it may be something to learn about. Everybody knows about business to business interactions. A lot of people know about business to consumer. How about consumer to consumer? Word of mouth is one of the most powerful vehicles in terms of sharing information. And That's basically how our business grows. It's one satisfied customer who realizes, wow, I know people in my life who could benefit from this program, this concept as I have, and then they pass that on, they pay it forward. So having said that, I became a student of the industry. I was willing to, if you will, I was willing to put in 10 hours a day to only get paid 8. In the beginning, you can put in a lot of effort and not see a lot of reward, but it's no different than if you're going to build a sky rise or a skyscraper. What happens first when they're going to build like a 60, 70-story building? They dig a big hole in the ground, and for the longest time, you don't see anything, but they're building a foundation. And once they get that, and it takes a while to build a solid foundation, but once they get that solid foundation built, then that skyscraper goes up overnight. And our business is very similar to building a skyscraper or running a marathon. In the beginning, you have to lay the groundwork, and you have to learn a few skills, and you have to build relationships with people. But in time, when, not everybody's going to figure out what we have in terms of a health solution. But for those people that are paying attention, that understand how cool our solution to health really is, and then how our business model can apply to anybody who has an average intelligence, if you will. I mean, you don't have to be a superstar. You just have to be an average human being that has above average desire. And that basically fit my description great. I was a good engineer, and it was good for me. But as I mentioned, I wanted to have a great life. And so I had above average desire. I wanted a little bit more than life was giving to me. And so I wrote down some goals. I became a student of the industry, and then I applied myself. And when I talk about applying myself, and if I may, how many people are listening to this call where you're involved in Juice Plus? Maybe you're brand new, maybe you've been at it for a while, but you haven't yet achieved that level of success that you thought you would achieve in the very beginning. And I ask that question because for a lot of people, I think I don't know if the rule applies to you in your life, but I really like the 80-20 concept or the 90-10 concept where, the majority of the people will do a little bit. And if you get good at helping a lot of people do a little bit, sooner or later you find people that are, superstars. And so what I mean by that is that our business model is really about talking to as many people as possible and inviting as many people as possible to take a look at what we have, whether it's from a product perspective or an opportunity to create additional income. But those two avenues really make a huge difference in people's lives. And as long as you're sincere and you let people don't know how much they don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's where building relationships with people comes into play in our business. And again, helping the masses do a little bit better in their life, if you can get good at helping the masses do a little bit better, and when I say a little bit better, who do you know that wouldn't take an extra $500 a month on a part-time basis? And these are the questions you have to ask. What's really going on in society? Is it getting easier to achieve your dreams, by working for someone else, or is it becoming harder and harder? And for me, the income gap is just getting greater. Those people at the top just keep making more and more, and we're fighting about a livable wage, in North America today. I mean, really? It's not that there's not enough money. It's just we don't have a good system to distribute the wealth unless you look at what we do. Because we have an excellent system where if you are willing to share your beliefs in what we do, you can be rewarded quite handsomely from a financial perspective. And it's not always about hard, cold cash. I talked about emotional sincerity. How about emotional revenue? Like, what is it worth to you to actually make a difference in the life of someone else where they were struggling before, and whether it be with their health, their relationship to free time, or their relationship to cash flow? If you could do something to help them improve their relationship to those 3 areas of their life, how much is that really worth to you in terms of the feel-good factor? And that's really, that's why I invite people to come to events, because you cannot deny that there is something very special about the culture we cultivate, because we're about helping people get to the basics of health, fruit and vegetable nutrition. And our business model isn't for everyone, but anyone can get involved if they have the desire to, and if they're willing to make a few changes in their life. So with that, I will just emphasize, today is what, November 5th, 2018. Juice Plus was introduced in 1993 of April of 1993. So you may think, oh, it's too late for me. And I will let you know that the coolest thing about where we are today as a company is that we have 50 years of success and leadership, and we have a brand new product that nobody even knows about that's been around for 25 years. So we are, it's as if we are a 50-year-old startup company. And if you aren't familiar, I didn't know this at the time. I didn't realize that most companies fail before they succeed. And this company has been succeeding for over 50 years. And I've been there for 25 years. I've done this more than anything else in my life. And why do I do it? It's mostly about the emotional revenue. At this point, well, sure, you can always make more money. And yes, I would like a bigger sailboat. But you know what? I don't need a bigger sailboat. What I do need is to be able to connect with other human beings and make a difference in their lives, even if it's just informational. Whether they buy Juice Plus or subscribe to our Healthy Living Revolution or do Shred 10, I'm not really, that doesn't matter, because on the most simplistic level, I can offer something, I can offer a resource to anybody who wants it for nothing. And with that, I'll encourage anyone who's listening, if you're new, make sure you understand what the healthylivingrevolution.com website offers people, as well as the freedomrevolution.com website. So I'll wrap it up before I take questions. But in terms of today, when I got started, if I could only tell you one thing about how to be successful with this business, it's about saying less to more people. Or another way to put it is going through the numbers. The more people you are willing to, build a relationship, whether it's 30 seconds in the elevator or a long-term relationship, the more people that you can kind of communicate with and find out where their pain is in relationship to time, money, and health, you get an opportunity to say, hey, I don't know if this is for you or not, but it sure has made a difference in my life. If I, send you a 2-minute video, would you take the time to watch it and allow me to follow up to see if you have any interest? So making the numbers work to your advantage that is the single most important reason why people have not achieved the level of success that they're looking for, is because they just haven't asked that question enough. And if you feel you have asked that question enough, then the chances are you just haven't discovered your true power in terms of being more effective as a communicator with other people about what you have as a solution to their challenges. So if I can say one thing, back in the day when I started this business, I had a rotary telephone and I had a fax machine. And now I'm talking to you into a little device that's as big as my palm, and you can see my picture. So social media, online marketing, technology has changed our world forever. And I suppose with most people, if you're like myself, the challenge is to catch up. If you're born into this technology, you already have a leg up on the value of this technology. And while we all spend probably way too much time on our phone just mindlessly surfing and looking at facts and figures, if you get focused about using your handheld device or your computer or your laptop or whatever, if you use technology effectively, you can leverage your efforts. And that is where our business model, that's what allows the average person on a part-time basis to break free of the rat race and live a life that most people would just dream about. Why? Because when you're trading hours for dollars, there's no leverage. You're only going to get paid for the hours that you work, and you're never going to have enough pay per hour to make you happy. I guarantee that. Whereas with our business model, you can leverage your effort. And the concept is, would you rather have 100% of your own effort or 1% of 100 different people's efforts? And so with that, the one thing we all have to learn how to do is to get better at how to reach more people and make the numbers work to your advantage. If you're looking to, make this more of just a part-time income and turn it into something that allows you to live your, wildest dreams. And with that, I'll stop talking and turn it back over to you, Radka. And if anyone has any questions or comments about, where we are today or where we're going or how you can get involved, happy to answer a few questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Doug. It's always so inspiring. I have tons of the notes. And what I really like is we are really business of the consumer to consumer. And I know we saw it already at the conference. That was really the theme. Then I'm very excited about that because it's very clear what we are doing. We are consumers and we are just creating more content. It's very, very nice. Any questions, everybody? Because we are already on a time. Then if any questions, please take the opportunity and ask Doug if you have anything to ask. Nobody? Okay, then I think, Doug, thank you so much for your time. And we have now all November to really bring our goals to the action. I know everybody on this calls has quite amazing goals. Then we have the vehicle. Then let's really roll the sleeves and get to the work. And again, thank you so much for being on the call. And
I'll just, because you talked about goals, I'll just leave you with this thought. Most people in the short term, they overestimate their ability with their goals. Like, you get involved in this business, you want to go to the top much sooner than you can actually reasonably do it because you don't understand. So we tend to overestimate our abilities in the short term, but we underestimate our ability in the long term. And what I mean by that is, like, right now, Mitra, we've been doing this for a long time. People, why do you keep doing it? Well, Mitra's created this 6-year plan. And I can't say enough about all of us recommitting. If you haven't achieved your goals yet, in terms of what you thought you could do in the beginning, recommit and see if you can't make a few subtle changes in how you operate and have the long term, be more realistic with what you can create in 3, 4, 5 years from now versus thinking you can smash a home run, overnight. Mm-hmm. So with that, it is a long-term game, and if you can do it quickly and get it up and running, great. But if not, where else do you have an opportunity in the next 5 to 6 years to retire with an amazing cash flow versus retiring on a pension that's probably not quite as much as what you're making, while you're actively employed? So, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Doug. Thank you so much. Thank you, Doug, and have a wonderful good night, everybody. And thank you for being on the call.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Radka.